Already in 2025, Google has been rolling out some extra updates to its newest types of campaigns, being Performance Max and Demand Gen. So what I wanted to do in this video is I wanted to take you through those changes and really give you a summary of how to apply these to your account so that you can get the best results with these types of campaigns. And let's firstly start with Performance Max. Now, when Performance Max first started, it was very much a black box that no one knew what was happening and we couldn't see any data. Google wasn't releasing this data at all. After many requests and a lot of feedback coming back to Google, they have started to release more and more data. Have they released all of the data? No. Do they have it? Yes. Should they release it? Yes. But anyway, that is a complete other conversation. What I want to take you through now is the new options that you do have inside of Google Ads for your Performance Max campaigns. The biggest one being is that just a couple of weeks ago, Google announced that it's increasing the limit for negative keywords for a Performance Max campaign from 100 up to 1,000, which is a great significant move. And also Google is going to be rolling out that you will be able to add these automatically at the campaign level. Now, as I record this, the easiest way to add this is at the account level. So you do have to be a little bit careful with the keywords that you are adding at the account level because it does go across all of your different campaign types. So search, shopping, as well as your Performance Max campaigns. And the way that you go through and add these account negatives so that you can limit where Performance Max is spending is you need to go into your account settings. And then when you're in your account settings, you'll see an option for account-wide negative keywords. And that's when you put in your account-wide negative keywords. When it comes to account-wide negative keywords, I'm very much using one-word broad match keywords to take out things like free or trial or reviews or samples, those type of things which we know people are not going to be converting with anyway, and they're looking for some extra information. So especially for things like reviews, they very much might be in the buying cycle, but they've already decided on your brand and they're just wanting to get that little bit extra of information. So you don't want to be paying for that ad because they're probably not wanting to go to your website anyway. They're wanting to find out some further clarification to justify their purchase. So the first change is that you can now add in negative keywords up to 1,000. And coming very soon, you may even have access to this already by the time you're watching this, is that you can add in negative keywords at the campaign level for Performance Max. As part of this, Google is also going to be giving some greater control for Performance Max, and it's going to allow you to add in some brand exclusions that only affect the search part of your Performance Max campaign. So this is going to be great news for e-commerce brands, where if your Performance Max is spending on search and the shopping networks, where you can add in some negative keywords that only affect the search part of your campaign and not that branded search. And this is really important for some e-commerce brands where their product name and their brand name is so closely aligned together. And they just want to be able to add some more nuanced control. Very soon, you'll be able to actually go through and do this. Another 2 levels of changes which Google is giving. Remember how I said before that Performance Max was a black box. Google is now opening that up a little bit wider. It's going to be sharing network-based data at the Performance Max campaign level. So you can actually see what you're spending on the search network, what you're spending on the shopping network versus display and video. So that is also going to be a very welcome update. And then finally, Google is also going to be able to give further control where you can direct the Performance Max campaign to only target URLs that contain certain words. So you have been able to do this as a bit of a workaround by Google allowing you to exclude certain URLs from your website. But if you run multiple different services and you also run multiple different products, this can sometimes be a little bit hard to do because you don't want to be adding in hundreds of different URLs to exclude. The easier way of doing this is by giving Google a couple of URLs to target, and that is going to be rolling out very soon, which is also another welcome update to the Performance Max world. All right, so they're the current updates which are currently available or are becoming available for Performance Max. Now let's jump in and talk about the different updates to Demand Gen. But before we do that, regardless of what type of campaign you're running, whether it's search, shopping, Performance Max, display, Demand Gen, or video, you need to make sure that you've got a strategic approach to your optimization strategy. To help you with that, you can download a free copy of my Google Ads optimization checklists, which takes you through all of the different optimization actions that you need to complete in your Google Ads campaigns in 2025. And if you want access to that checklist, just follow that link in the description below. All right, let's now talk about Demand Gen. And I want to be honest here with Demand Gen is that the more I'm using it, the more I'm starting to like it. When it first came out, I was really skeptical about it, but I am starting to use it more and more. And that is on the back of the positive results and the profitable results we are seeing for businesses. But you need to make sure that you're getting a couple of things right in order to see that success with Demand Gen. And the latest change which has occurred within Demand Gen is that you can now choose where you want your ads to be placed. So if you want your ads to only appear in the Shorts feed for YouTube, you can specify that. Or if you only want your ads to appear midstream or mid-roll, you can specify that. The great thing about that is that you've now got control over the type of content where people are seeing it, whether it's in the YouTube Shorts, whether it's midstream, or whether it's in the display networks. And the reason why this is really, really powerful is that it not only lets you test the performance of the different placements, it also lets you create specific content for specific placements. For example, if you are targeting the YouTube Shorts versus the midstream, your ad creatives need to be different, because with the Shorts reel, they can flick up at any time. But with the midstream, you've already got them engaged in a video. They then see your ad. So there are some different messaging and some different strategies that you can use in order for that performance. Now, going along with this, to make sure that you get the best performance with this, is that I do also recommend that you turn off optimized targeting. And the reason for that is because you want to make sure that you're keeping one of the main benefits of demand gen, in that you can target it to specific audiences. But if you were to turn off optimized targeting, you're now handing over all that control, and those audiences become signals, which then means that you don't have that control, and Google is just using those as recommendations and going far and wide and running different amounts of testing for you. So that you get those settings right, let's jump into a screen share so that I can show you how to do this inside of a demand gen campaign. Okay, so firstly, let's talk about the placement control. So the way that you're going to be doing this is that when you're inside of your demand gen campaign, you can see that we've actually separated our creatives through to Shorts and also display. So Shorts being the short form content on YouTube, display being the image space. And when you're in the actual campaign, you want to then go into your ads. And what we want to do through here is that when you're adding an ad or you're checking the ad, just go through to edit. And you can see from here is that we've selected for this to show on Shorts only. So if we were to keep it like this is the default where it's showing across all forms, it would be showing a short-based network across in-stream or in-feed. But by taking this out, we're then selecting it to only appear on the short network. And as I said, what that allows you to do, it then allows you to create different ad groups with slightly different targeting or different messaging, so you can actually see the performance at the network level. So you can really, really drill down on what type of creative and what type of content is working best for your business. Now, the next part that you want to be going into is also at the ad group level. You want to go into the settings, and when you've added in the targeting, you want to make sure that this optimized targeting is turned off, because if you turn that on, what that means is that all of these audiences that we've created, Google will just then use them as recommendations and go far beyond those selections. The great thing that I love about demand gen is that you can target specific users on a specific network. So whether that be Shorts or display or whether long form content, and you can target them with tailored content, which you think is going to be the best for your conversions. And then you can also review those ads, review that content to make further optimizations. So that's why you want to make sure that we're doing those two things of really going through and controlling the placements of where they are being selected and turning off that optimized targeting so that you keep that control, so you can continue to go through and make further optimizations. All right, so let's now summarize all of these changes and the things that you need to be doing inside of your Google Ads campaigns if you're using Performance Max and Demand Gen in 2025. First thing, for Performance Max, make sure that you are adding in those account level negative keywords. And when the option becomes available, make sure that you're also adding them in at the campaign level. Secondly, make sure that you're using that brand exclusion so that you're not wasting money inside of a Performance Max campaign for users that were highly likely to convert anyway because they're targeting your brand name. And then secondly, once it becomes available, also use that URL control so that you can be more specific at the asset group level about where people are going when they land on your landing pages. And then for Demand Gen, we want to make sure that we're turning off that optimized targeting. We're using the control for the placement, so we're really getting specific with our ads and where they're being placed. And then the final thing that I would say with Demand Gen is also make sure that whenever you're reviewing a Demand Gen campaign, that you're not just looking at the conversion level, you're also tracking or looking at what is called view through conversions, which is a core functionality of your Demand Gen campaigns. And if you'd like to know more about the differences between Performance Max and Demand Gen, especially how it relates to the conversion reporting, I want you to go through and watch this video right here. Thank you for joining me. My name is Aaron Young from Define Digital Academy. As always, it's an absolute pleasure having you here. And if you want to make sure that you're optimizing your campaigns correctly, just follow that link in the description below. See you guys.